I have no problem with Canelo getting it. No problem. I could see Canelo. I maybe myself might, if I wanted to torture myself and watch the fight again, as long as I got the Mexican fans ready to go nuts, let me finish the job. Let me finish it, okay? Or he's overrated. So you pick your pick. You pick your pick. I know what's coming. It's fine.
Teddy Atlas just lit a fire under the boxing world, questioning whether Canelo Alvarez is truly the superstar he's made out to be. From calling his recent fight torture to outright branding him overrated, Atlas isn't holding back ahead of the Crawford clash. Atlas did not mince words when he criticized Canelo Alvarez's latest performance against John Ryder's replacement, Jaime Munguia's previous opponent, Skull. In true Atlas style, he called the fight torture, expressing frustration at what he deemed a slow, dull fight that promised nothing in terms of excitement or competitiveness. Atlas was explicit that he had a lot more expectation from a fighter of Canelo's caliber. To him, the fight resembled a glorified sparring match, and it was considerably short of the elite display fans were promised.
I have no problem with Canelo getting it. No problem. I could see Canelo. I maybe myself might, if I wanted to torture myself and watch the fight again.
He further highlighted his general dissatisfaction with Canelo's recent string of performances. Atlas contended that fans have come to crave explosive, definitive fights from boxing's biggest stars, but what they've gotten instead are cautious, risk-minimizing performances. In his opinion, Canelo has evolved from a fearless and relentless boxer to one who plays it too safe too frequently. Atlas was adamant that the present-day Canelo is not meeting the standards set previously in his career.
Canelo doesn't get a pass for not doing more. It still could have done more. He could have used the jab more. He could have closed the gap with 2 jabs and closed the gap. He could have jabbed to the chest of Skull. He's an experienced guy with over 60 fights, champion of many divisions, tremendous fighter. He knew that he could have done that. Why didn't he do that? He could have went to the body more.
Next, and significantly, was the heaviest of all possible shots from Atlas, a declaration that Canelo Alvarez is, in his opinion, overrated. That indictment alone caused ripples throughout the boxing universe. Atlas recognized Canelo's achievements, but maintained that much of them were meticulously controlled and not indicative of actual pound-for-pound greatness. He posited that the hype surrounding Canelo in the media has more times than not superseded the quality of his competition. It was a brazen opinion, but one which Atlas did not shy away from, continuing to fuel the current debate.
As long as I got the Mexican fans ready to go nuts, let me finish the job. Let me finish it, okay? Or he's overrated. So you pick your pick. You pick your pick. I know what's coming. It's fine. You look for rain, you got to deal with the mud. Okay, fine. But it's got to be one of those things. I'm going to say it's just that at this point in his life, with all the money he's made, all the success, all the accolades, the placement that he's been put by people, that there is no threat to him.
Canelo, also known for his ability to remain calm under pressure, replied to Atlas's comments with equanimity and a bit of humor. He did not engage in a back and forth or become offended, rather he deflected it with humor. Canelo asserted that detractors will not influence his mentality or training. He's focused and composed only on what's next in the ring. The answer was classic Canelo, calm, assured, and emotionally unruffled, further solidifying his reputation as an old pro with his sights on the prize.
Champ, how do you feel about Teddy Atlas saying that you are the most overrated Mexican fighter in history? He went on the rant. Teddy Atlas.
What's that mean?
He said you're the most overrated Mexican champion in history. He said that Salvador Sanchez.
Boxeador mexicano.
Más popular,
pero sin causa.
Crazy that guy. and you think he knows boxing?
Derek James later updated the discussion, bringing a gravitas to it with an urgent message for Canelo. The veteran trainer, who has guided top-level fighters in several weight classes, came down firm and clear. Crawford is not just any opponent. James made the point that while Canelo possesses power and lineage, Crawford has intelligence, speed, and timing, qualities that can even out punches of brute force. It was a statement made from respect for both fighters, but also a reminder that Canelo might be heading into one of the toughest challenges of his career.
The thing about Crawford is he believes he's on it, like he believes he's the one. So that's the difference between him and any other fighters that Canelo fight. Because Canelo, people fight the idea of Canelo Alvarez opposed to fighting the individual. The thought of him is what puts fear in their heart. But he doesn't care about that because he's Terence Crawford, so it's a totally different thing. So if he can implement his strategy and ride it out to the end of the fight, he's going to be successful. But if Canelo can do what he needs to do, and his timing has to be on point. He's not that fast as Crawford is. It's all about timing.
Juan Manuel Marquez, a boxing legend and a master technician, Marquez cautioned that the jump in size could undermine Crawford's signature speed and endurance, his most valuable assets in his tool set. He feared that engaging a naturally larger, stronger man like Canelo would drain Crawford's energy at his accustomed rhythm and pace. For Marquez, it's not a matter of having boxing IQ, it's the cost the body pays when doing business in higher divisions. And in a battle where seconds count, Marquez says this physical imbalance might be the difference maker.
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, it has divisions. You know what I mean? You know?
Right, weight classes.
You know what?
Right.
Yeah, weight classes.
For a reason.
Weight classes for And Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
Shane Mosley shared similar sentiments from other veterans, pointing out the dramatic size disparity between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Mosley, who has had his own share of encounters with Canelo, noted that the Mexican superstar instinctively weighs more, is stronger, and has greater physical presence, abilities that can greatly impact the result. As per Mosley, such a size disparity isn't merely an optical illusion, it's operational. It will influence punching power, toughness, and the ability of a fighter to take shots. He strongly feels that this physical mismatch may become a major issue for Crawford.
Shane, what do you think about Canelo and Crawford?
I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think that the reason why, if Crawford was a mover like the rest of the fight, then maybe he can have a good chance with Canelo. But I think that being that Crawford is a fighter, that's gonna be dangerous. That's gonna be a problem. He's a fighter. He wants to fight. He's gonna move a little bit, but his heart is not in moving. So he's gonna have to sit there and fight with Canelo. If you sit there and fight with Canelo and he's that much bigger than you, then I don't know. But everybody think, Crawford, he's a great boxer, he's this, he's that, which he is. He's a great fighter. And I think he's a great fighter at 140, 47. And he seems just to be, good at 54. But now we're going to 68.
Hall of Fame announcer Jim Lampley offered another convincing perspective on the Canelo cause, complimenting the Mexican's growth since his defeat against Floyd Mayweather. Lampley cited the way Canelo has improved his defense techniques, sharpened his ring intelligence, and emerged among the most versatile fighters of the current generation. These refinements, acquired through observing and battling the best, now provide Canelo with a strategic advantage that cannot be overemphasized. In Lampley's opinion, this bout is not merely muscle against finesse, it's chess between two masterminds, and Canelo might just have studied the rules better.
Canelo's smart. Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time, Canelo beats himself. If he gets tired of all the discipline he has had to employ to make all the money he's made, if he has enough giant ranches in the Yucatan, if he has enough beautiful horses, if he has had enough unforgettable dinners with Mexican billionaires in Mexico City and Vegas, then maybe.
However, despite the praise, Canelo has also weathered their fair share of criticism, particularly following his win over Callum Smith. That fight, although a victory, had no high-octane pizzazz that fans had grown accustomed to. The deliberate tempo and absence of explosiveness led many to question whether Canelo's approach had become too prudent, too conservative. Oscar de la Hoya, never one to be reticent with his opinions, was quick to express dismay, suggesting Canelo was losing the flame that once made him must-see television. The victory didn't quiet critics. It gave them more to complain about.
The facts are that they're over 35 years old both, and I remember I fought Chavez when he was 32 and he was 99-1 and people thought he was over the hill. So
have you changed your pick for that fight, Oscar, based on how Canelo looked against Skull?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because Canelo, you know, obviously he walks on quicksand. We saw it against Skull once again. Crawford is very, you know, he's not one-dimensional. He can move, he can box, he can, you know, I don't know how hard he hits to keep Canelo away from him, but, you know, I think it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight.
That change in opinion opened the floodgates for analysts to begin seriously supporting Terence Crawford, and leading the charge was none other than Teddy Atlas. The veteran trainer made direct parallels with the historic Pacquiao versus De La Hoya upset, contending that timing and quickness can counter size. Atlas colored Crawford as the disruptor of today, armed with the skills to stun the planet. To Atlas, the physical distance between the two is immaterial when you're working with greatness. In his opinion, Crawford's intellectual and stubbornness may be all it takes to rewrite history.
People are going to say Canelo's too big. He had trouble with a 154-pound guy when he went up from welterweight to that. So now he's going up to 168. Teddy, come on. How are you going to make an argument? You're going to make an argument to this, to the history of this sport, where little guys have been able to beat big guys, because you reverse it. You reverse who's got the advantage and the disadvantage. Yeah, the size, the power of Canelo, he's got the advantage. Then all of a sudden you go back and you say, wait a minute. The other guy's faster. The other guy's craftier. The other guy has more options. The other guy is slicker. Oh, well, maybe he's got the advantages. Like the first time Pacquiao fought De La Hoya. And I know De La Hoya was having trouble with weight and all that. I get it, and that's fair. But still, I remember I picked that one. Well, every once in a while I pick one right. I remember that I picked that one where Pacquiao's going to win. And I said, yeah, you're saying that De La Hoya's bigger, he's stronger. He's got the power edge, he's got this edge. But the other guy's quicker. And that's going to be an edge.
Teddy Atlas doubled down on that assumption by referencing Crawford's X Factor, an elusive intangible that distinguishes legends from simply great fighters. He called this battle another perfect storm building, with echoes of recent upsets about to repeat. Atlas ventured that everyone sees Canelo's bulk and heritage, but they may be missing the storm on the horizon. The further you dig, the more Crawford starts to resemble the fighter who owns moments just like this one. This wasn't a pick, it was a prescient warning that greatness could again turn expectation on its head.
I'm one of the people that thinks Crawford is very, very special. I'm not saying Canelo's not, but I think he's special in a different way, where he's got instincts that not everyone has. That it's the timing, it's the instinctual things, the X factors, the intangibles that he has. And I think they're going to show themselves. I really do. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy. I always wanted to see David and Goliath live. Didn't you?
One of the greatest surprises in defection to Crawford's corner was that of Eddie Hearn, the individual who previously stood in Canelo's corner in a promotional capacity. Having worked with Alvarez for so long, Hearn is now enamored with Crawford's boxing IQ and versatility. He called Bud the most well-rounded fighter in the sport today, someone who has transitioned through weight classes not only with success, but supremacy. Hearn's respect was evident, and in this specific matchup, he believes Crawford's jack-of-all-trades arsenal is too much for even an accomplished champion like Canelo to handle.
Do you see that fight now differently based on how Canelo performed against Skull Eddie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, wow.
It wasn't just the fact that he couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, the Crawford fight will definitely get him up for it. But I was actually watching that fight thinking I wouldn't be surprised if he retired and actually didn't fight Crawford, because I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
Standing behind that same faith is Josh Taylor, the former undisputed champion of the super lightweight division. Taylor didn't get overly caught up in the X's and O's, but made it perfectly clear that Crawford's well-rounded skill set is just levels above. Taylor complimented Crawford's capacity for adjusting mid-fight and managing distance like very few others. In his opinion, this isn't so much about who hits harder, it's about who can set the pace and make the other dance to their beat. With Taylor's inclusion in the equation, Crawford's popularity continues to build momentum among boxing elite.
Canelo Crawford, what's your prediction for that?
Crawford. I don't know, it's a tough one to be fair, but I think Crawford definitely has got the ability and the skill to outbox him and outmaneuver him. But I don't know if he's quite as cute as but the nuances how Mayweather done it. But it was obviously that's the blueprint. And Crawford can switch hit as well, and he can do the same things as what Mayweather done, but he's just not quite as cute as it at it, But yeah, it's an intriguing fight. It's certainly an interesting fight, one I'll definitely be staying up to watch.
Tony Bellew was not afraid either, putting his trust in Crawford's quickness as the tool that could break Canelo's pressure. The previous cruiserweight champ underscored how Canelo packs a truck-like punch, but is not the quickest, and boxing is all about speed killing. Bellew referred to Crawford's lightning-quick hands, quick footwork, and extraordinary timing as the counter to Canelo's raw power. For Bellew, it's not a matter of survival, it's about landing first and not getting landed on at all. And in that math, Crawford's strengths may be too keen to dull.
He's not old by any stretch of the imagination. No, he's an exceptional fighter, Canelo. But the way that everyone will think is weight classes exist for a reason, and they're thinking Bud's going up too much. Bud's actually big. Terence Crawford's a big dude. I've been around him. I know him.
Yeah, fair.
And he's a brilliant fighter. Technically, very adaptive, can do it all. Has got power. The Errol Spence fight tells you everything you need to know. The Errol Spence fight he was unbelievable. And Errol Spence is a seriously physically strong guy, right, with power. Errol Spence made it the modern day Marvin Hagler. He was a force to be reckoned with. And he brushed Errol Spence aside like he was nothing. And bullied him. And once again, I predicted that fight. I said he'd stop Errol Spence late. No one's seen that coming. It's just styles make fights so much, and Errol likes to wait and be powerful. Canelo's similar. Canelo likes to wait. It has to be all at Canelo's rate and pace. Right. He's not going to get that way with Terence Crawford.
No, you think?
I just think Terence Crawford will We'll outwork him, we'll pot shot him.
Then there was Shakur Stevenson, one of boxing's next generation, who observed in Crawford the same smoothness and smarts that makes greats invincible. Stevenson not only respected Crawford's ability, but also his flexibility, a quality that could infuriate and outsmart even a man of Canelo's extensive experience. It's not only the veterans who are supporting Bud, there are young lions like Stevenson who view him as the personification of contemporary boxing excellence. With each sponsorship, Crawford's legend in the making is gaining momentum, confirming that this is not hype. It's genuine admiration from the men who understand the sport better.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Corey, how you got a decision to stop this? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop it.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone and talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud can crack too. So.
Finally, Bernard Hopkins, a man with decades of top-level experience, joined Crawford's corner with a message of power. Hopkins cited Crawford's boxing IQ as one of the best in the sport today. For the executioner, that means this fight will not be won with brute force, but rather with who has the faster mind and responds smarter under pressure. Hopkins feels that Crawford possesses the mind of a tactician and the heart of a warrior, two things that make him virtually unbeatable against anyone, including Canelo. His endorsement is greater than symbolic, it's strategic, and it says a lot.
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone.
This ain't no boxing match. It's a battle of styles, eras, and ideologies. A behemoth honed in years of war on one side, a maestro of precision, rhythm, and composure on the other. Will Braun dominate the evening, or will mastery make history? Share your choice in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for all the latest showdowns, breakdowns, and post-fight drama.